Hello, everyone. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we celebrate incredible Americans from all walks of life. You may hear from a NASA astronaut, hosts John McIntosh, Mark Renahan, and Adrian Garcia. Take it away, team.
Garcia, facilitator in the classroom. How are you, sir?
Doing great, John. Pretty excited for today's show. We have a lot of great things coming up, so
Yeah, we're
very
excited.
much looking forward to it.
And as always, the one and only Mr. Noah behind the scenes, all bundled.
Yeah.
Anyway, and of course, because
No,
it is Tuesday. It is Tuesday, and that means that we have the one and only WWE superstar, Miss Lacey Evans for Lacey's Corner. How are you, Miss Lacey? Nice.
Lord, would you look at me? I am alive. I'm ready. I'm ready to run my mouth and be with all you nasty things.
Awesome.
All
So
right.
we'll get into it a little bit, Lacey, but we had the pleasure of talking to your beautiful daughter, Summer, and she learned a little bit about somebody very special today. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. But before we get into that, Mark, we have a very, very special guest on the line, a return customer, so to speak.
We do. Of course, as we are here all about teaching U.S. history, we also like to get into the physical fitness aspect for the kids, which we're doing with our new fundraising confidence course. And now you brought Lacey Evans, so, I had to go out, get one of my Boston boys to come on to deal with all you Southerners, so I had a little backup. So I went out and got, of course, our returning guest. He is an incredible American. He has deployed 9 times in defense of our country. He is a Ranger. He is a sapper. He has earned 5 Bronze Stars. And currently, John, he is in the Sergeant Major's Academy. I speak, of course, as my old childhood buddy, Master Sergeant John Melson of the Mississippi National Guard. Sergeant Melson, how are you?
I'm doing okay today, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's good to have you here with Lacey and the gang.
Yeah, this is great. I can't believe I'm on the same show with her. She's something else.
Oh, I thought you were referring to me, John.
No, I
was
think
just
he's talking
saying
about
that.
And before we get started, I want to give a special shout out, of course, to the Mississippi National Guard, all the men and women over there doing great things. Thank you for lending out John today. We appreciate having Master Sergeant Melson on the show.
Amen. Amen. So, John, you are at a really prestigious school right now. Isn't that a fact?
Yeah, it's quite the accomplishment, especially for a guy like me. I do a lot of work with crayons.
You chew on those crayons, I understand.
Well,
Yeah,
John, you were formerly a Marine, just like Lacey, and I do believe in the Marines. They do feed you crayons. Isn't that how it works?
That's what they say. Mark.
Well, Lacey, I've always wanted to know this, and I never quite understood it because I get made fun of because I'm a flyboy, an Air Force guy. What's the story behind the crayons, Lacey?
You're asking the wrong person. All I know is this is okay. My assumption, right? I did 5 years active duty. I wasn't deployed. I was military police. I was on SRT. I was a hard charger. I love the military, and my life just kind of took a turn. But this is what the little puzzle pieces that I've collected since being in the United States Marine Corps. The only thing I could assume is that for motivators like me and John to join the finest fighting force in the world, one of the toughest jobs out there, the Marine Corps, you've got to be either crazy or losing a little bit of brain cells, right? And I mean, we're crazy, and sometimes our math for Marine freaking skill set is kind of low. So they assume that we're good for nothing but shooting guns and freaking diving in holes, apparently. Well, let me tell you something. People like me and John are smart as a whip, okay? Or what is it? Sharp as a tack. And we do more. We might eat crowns on the weekend, honey, but we're smart as hell. So I don't know where that ever came from. But, they do make bubblegum crowns now that are pretty good. They are out there.
Excellent. Excellent. So what do you think of that?
That's a good answer, John, right?
Yeah, I'm on her side.
We are too, trust us, we are too. But one of the reasons, John, why I wanted to have you on is we're having coming up this incredible fundraiser. Lacey has been, again, kind enough to continue to help us. And, we're having a fundraiser that deals with, we're going to teach them up with Ben Franklin, U.S. history, but, we want to get people, into good shape. And I know as an instructor, I believe you were an instructor at the, I'm going to get this wrong, but the Army National Guard Warrior Training Center. You were a ranger training there. And I was wondering if you could talk to us, John, maybe a little bit about the importance of your rangers being in good physical fitness and some of the things you do to keep yourself and your men and women in shape.
Okay, well, what I can tell you, it's my time working as a ranger instructor while I was at Fort Benning for the National Guard Warrior Training Center. Being physically in shape is such a big deal because of the rigors and the stresses that you're going to have to endure. And, what we've found throughout the years is, people that are more physically fit rebound and can endure those types of rigorous type of environments like you would find yourself in an austere combat environment, we'll say, right? So if you're taking care of your body and, you're physically in shape, you can deal with stress, you can rebound better from stress, you can endure the punishment that you'll end up going through in and out of vehicles, dismounted, falling down the side of a mountain, dealing with explosions in close proximity. With stress, it's also a great means to, working out, stuff like that, a healthy means to help you channel that stress away and to cope with the situations that you're dealing with. Coming into Ranger School, it is extremely, extremely physically demanding right out the gate. Right? As soon as you come in, you have to pass the physical fitness requirements, but then once you pass that, which most of the physical requirements are pretty much wrapped up in the first 2 weeks of training, from there on, it's nothing but, simulated training missions over and over and over, lack of sleep. So you'll be suffering deprivation of sleep. You'll be suffering from maybe one meal a day because, your missions, you don't have time to stop to eat. It's just continually rolling for 24/7 for the period of 72 days. And to be able to endure that, you've got to come into that training scenario in top shape.
No, that's incredible. And Lacey, I think, we've had the privilege of getting to know you and your family, and I know you can attest to another aspect to our foundation, which is mental and physical fitness. And Master Sergeant Melson, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that whole physical fitness aspect helps with your mental fitness. Would you agree, Lacey?
Absolutely. I think that it's a physical and mental toughness. And a lot of the listeners out there listening, it may be hard for you to put yourself in his boots, literally his boots, because what he's talking about, falling down to the side and climbing out of these vehicles and stopping threats. And, that's a different kind of mental toughness and physical toughness. But what he's saying is being prepared to face those challenges. You need a confidence in order to do so. And when you're stuck in those situations, right? And I'll bring out some that you guys can relate to everyday life as a mother, as a spouse, as a human being working regular jobs. It's something, it also ties into self-care and self-confidence. So there's a Navy SEAL out there called David Goggins. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him. He wrote an incredible book, and it talks about like that mental and physical toughness. It's about stepping outside of your comfort zone and physically challenging yourself. And what John was saying was the more that you physically challenge yourself, mentally challenge yourself, when excuse my French, encouraged, but when crap hits the fan, when life knocks you down, the harder that you push yourself on the good days, the better you'll be prepared on the bad days. And it's not just physically, right? It's mentally too, because it's pushing yourself to be better, to be stronger, to be faster, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, career-wise, goals-wise, writing down in your planner what life throws you. So yes, John, with Step of America, with the Benjamin Franklin, to bring themselves to have that physical confidence, that mental confidence, that toughness. And so the confidence course is literally just what it's a step them, not only just mentally teaching them about America and the importance of their impact on America and their future, but getting the health in there, getting the physical activity in there, because it creates well-rounded, confident, strong Americans, and not just physically, but mentally.
Well, that's so cool. And Master Sergeant Melson, the first time you were on our show, you just have an incredible story. And the one thing that I took away from my conversation with you on that day was how humble of a man you were. And I think that physical, mental toughness brings, it just creates really cool people. And Sergeant Melson, you're one of those people. That's what I took away, honest to God. I was like, Mark, that's one of the, I can't believe he's your friend, number one.
Marines are
yeah.
hardcore.
And number two, how could she's the same way? She's one of the toughest women I've ever known, or possibly, I think, yeah, I'll just say it, toughest woman I've ever met.
Yeah, no, that's
and
fact.
the most humble
That's for
woman
sure.
I've ever met. So, Master Sergeant Melson, do you want to kind of, does that correlate, that mental, physical toughness into, I think it does. It translates into being a good citizen. I just want to get your take on that.
Well, I think Mark understands, from conversations we've had over the years, like, after 9/11 happened, I just felt like it was the right thing to do, right? As an American, like somebody's going to come here and attack our country to go and partake in what was considered a problem with our country. So I wanted to be part of the solution. I didn't want to sit on the sidelines and watch possibly somebody else go do something that I can do, but I'm just not willing to do myself, to be like, hey, I didn't sit back and just let that happen. I went and tried to provide a solution to our problem. Yeah, right. And, it's been super humbling through all the training I've endured, that I've been fortunate enough to be, given the opportunity to attend. Those courses I've attended, they're very humbling. You really learn, maybe you weren't so good at something that you thought you were good at, and there's things that you end up realizing you could be good at that you didn't think you were. So, the humbling piece is going there and getting knocked down. And it's like, oh, my backpack's real heavy. I got to get back up because the weight of my country is in my backpack. My country's depending on me. So you just keep pushing to endure. And, you're not doing it, for the accolades. You're doing it because it's what you believe in and, for the sake of our country.
About 1 minute and recognize some sponsors, and then we'll come right back and join the conversation and pick up where we left off.
Absolutely.
All
right, we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors, New Day USA and our
America's Dream Team.
Active duty service people. Some of them are giving their lives right now today for the freedoms that we have here in this country. So for us at New Day to help those people at this point in time, it's a labor of love, it's a noble service, and that's what we're all about.
Mark.
Hey, welcome
Yeah,
back. That's
yeah,
your job.
welcome back. All right.
Oh, that's Jaws.
Oh, come on
Mark,
now.
Really?
I
You
haven't
left
done
your
that in a
phone
while.
on.
I haven't done that in a
Oh.
while. All right.
Hey,
Take it
Lacey, he deserves a women's right for that one.
All right, everyone, take it easy. Take it easy. That hasn't happened in a while. But anyway, just for things like that is how we got to know each other.
All right.
Yeah, of course,
Okay.
of course. But no, anyway, back to today's show. One of the things I wanted to bring up, actually ask you, John, is are you when you were at the Army National Guard Warrior drills, etc.?
Okay, so well, I wasn't designated as like the sole fitness guy. It was a group of us. It was about 15 of us as instructors at the Warrior Training Center, and each one of us all had to partake in the physical events. So if I was training Ranger candidates or Ranger students, I was doing the training with them. So if we were running, if they had to do a running event, we were running with them. They had to do an obstacle course. I had to go out and show the example of how to execute the obstacles. If we were going to do a forced march, a ruck march, 12 miles, I'd have to go out and perform the ruck march with them, as well as my other instructors with me as well. But I was one of the more senior guys.
I love the fact that you were saying how at Ranger courses you would lead and do the exercises with them, because I have been talking to Lacey about our confidence course, and we've decided that both Adrian and John will lead all of the obstacles at the cost, just to show that Step Up America.
Yeah, sure.
I would love to, but of course I'm Ben Franklin, so
I know,
I'll be
yeah.
back somewhere on the computer. So
Well,
we have to test out the course. We got to test it out.
Lacey, is it okay if I personally invite Master Sergeant Melson out on February 27th to Beaufort, South Carolina, so he could teach me a thing or two about tackling these obstacles?
I'm sure you'd motivate all the kids out there.
I'm going to tell you right now, just for those of you, the picture of Melson doesn't do him justice. If he comes to train you, you're going to be hard. You're going to be quite
it's
frightened. I
good.
promise you.
Well,
I might have him like this. If there's 15 Melsons yelling at me while I'm working out, I'd just be like, "Oh my goodness, this is terrible."
Well, that's all part of pushing yourself physically,
No,
right?
it is.
So,
And it's also if I want to have the Rangers trained by anyone, it's Melson. So
all right, more frightening than Lacey Evans when she gets fired up?
Well, imagine the two of them coming
Yeah,
at you. That would be even worse. But John, I know you're a real busy man, but if you or anyone from the Mississippi National Guard wants to come out and join us on February 27th in Beaufort, South Carolina, we'd love to have you. But we hopefully are going to have these all over the place, and hopefully we'll get to Mississippi.
Yeah, heck. Let's have the Mississippi,
National Guard wants to
hope
get together with us and have a Step Up America March Forward Foundation Confidence Course Day. Let us know. We'd love to come out and
that would be
entertain all the kids of the Mississippi National Guardsmen and women. So that would be a great idea. And that goes to anyone, anywhere in the United States. Ben Franklin will, come and teach your kids one of our 16 lessons.
Looking at you with those eyes right now.
Well, the fact that she's even here after doing the Royal Rumble 2 nights ago is pretty impressive. America Foundation. You can go to our website, especially right now, if you go to our website, which is www.stepup on February 27th. And again, no kid left behind. And for all you back home in Boston, I'm just figuring out how to get the link to work, and I'm going to be bombarding you all, and you all will be donating. Of that, I assure you.
So, here's the cool thing. Lacey was kind enough to, wonderful husband, have taken on the majority of this pandemic, and Master Sergeant Melson, you brought it up, fun. And we also know that this pandemic has caused some financial struggles for a lot of people, and no kid's going to be left behind. The way we're going to do that, we're going to figure it out, but with the generous donations, if you search child, click on there. If you can't attend and you're in Mississippi and you want to see some of these wonderful kids from South Carolina come out, or Georgia, and hang out with the Limitless Lady and Ben Franklin, which is so cool. So, Master Sergeant Melson, I truly, I love your story. You're an incredible human being, a motivator, just like Miss Evans. I would love for you to be able to come out. I'll even buy your plane ticket personally, not the foundation. I'll stroke the check by John.
And I'll pay for the hotel. I'll stroke that check from Mark Renan. So Johnny, I'll talk to you offline. But if you can get away and you want to come out and enjoy some time and finally meet the Step Up team and Lacey Evans, we'd love to have you, John.
We're on a very tight schedule here at the Sergeant Major Academy. And
Have a
Saying
Lacey
Master-
and John boot camp.
Yeah, Master Sergeant Melson, if you want us to contact the former 12th Sergeant Major of the Army,
How crazy busy you are, and we know how you absolutely are always ready with your men for any of the worst that So at some point, though, Johnny, I promise we're going to get you to one of our events, and we'd love to have you. And the world needs to know that there are men like Master Sergeant Melson out there who have crazy.
there's the humble in him.
Yeah,
Right?
he's
Took
just
a
like,
slice
shut
of
up,
humble
Renahan,
pie.
would you?
Yeah.
Speechless.
I didn't know if I was supposed to say something or just
No,
let it
no,
sink in for a minute.
Johnny, actually, while I had you and while I have Lacey, and we forgot to bring this up, and I hate to go from giggling to kind of a serious subject, but we had a commercial break a few minutes ago, and for our commercial break, we had an organization called Our Tony on the show. All are dealing with veterans, PTSD and suicide, and again with all the kids being locked down. But I know you recently lost one of your soldiers to PTSD, and it's a problem. I don't know if you wanted to touch base on that, and Johnny, if you don't, just say shut up, Renahan. But I just wanted to bring that up real quick.
Well, I'll tell you to shut up, Renahan, anyways. But I'm only joking. It just seemed to fit.
It
right?
did.
To
It
try and
does.
break
It
up.
does.
It is a low point, so I'm just trying to get some levity with that. Yeah, I lost. He was a real good buddy of mine. I mean, I guess the demons beat him. But with that's the third soldier I've lost since my 2012 deployment. There's no cookie cutter answer as to say what is the source that gets these great warriors to just find a permanent solution to a temporary problem. It's a very big issue in the Department of Defense, especially in the military, the Army right now, with suicide prevention. There's so many soldiers and Marines and airmen. At this point, they're finding permanent solutions to temporary problems. But we can't figure out, the save-all answer for everybody. Everybody's situation is different. Their thought processes are different. And it's tough to, especially on the National Guard side, it's tough because the Army has its policies, and then as National Guard, those policies and funding, the programs available by the active Army aren't available to National Guard soldiers. So when a National Guard soldier comes back from a deployment, he's coming back, he's possibly facing a divorce, some infidelity. I've seen that quite frequently while National Guard soldiers were mobilized and deployed. Some of them come back to face job loss, so they're coming back with unemployment issues. So everyone's reasons are different, and their struggles. But like as I'm dealing with accepting the loss of my friend Chris Delano, you can't really say that someone is at fault for not picking up on the warning signs or anything. I talked to him 3 days prior to his decision, and he was very upbeat. He was motivated about training with his soldiers, how we used to train back when he worked for me. And he's back in the gyms, getting back into shape. He had been diagnosed with cancer months before, and he said he was dealing with that. And like I said, he was very upbeat. Things were very positive. But unless there's a way that when that person is thinking with those ideologies, and they're pretty much making their mind up to inject and have a timeout at that point to break that thought process, I really don't know. And all three of these guys I've lost, they big impacts in my life. We went through a lot while we were deployed. And
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt, just because the listeners out there, and like they said, I'm a big advocate of mental health, PTSD. Now you said that there's not an end all be all. There's not just one fix that can just fix this. I'm not active duty. I go on tour every week. I'm, with WWE, I'm now not active duty. I'm not a reservist. I'm now a sports entertainer. So for me, it's difficult to be able to monthly or yearly, just like, here's the new thing that's actually working out there for these Marines and these soldiers and these military members who are stuck in that mindset. And yes, I do know that PTSD does affect civilians. This is a mental health issue that the whole
Yes,
world
ma'am.
is facing. But right now, for everybody out there listening, and you may not answer it right away, but is there something like, as we're speaking about this, and when you mention that there's not an end all be all, there's not just one fix, what right now do you see is working? Is there a program right now? I know that you said the National Guard doesn't technically have what others may have, but is there like a specific program that is in the back of your mind when you keep saying like things that are available for people that are on the brink of just wanting to give up? Is there a program that is in your mind that you could mention to somebody, especially like me, that I can use going forward in all my shows to mention out there that is for them? And if it's not a program, is it a specific thing that is helping those that aren't making that final decision that they can never come back from?
Ma'am, I wouldn't know any programs per se, like if I was dealing with a civilian, other than try and get them to mental health professional. When it comes to service members, the folks in the Army with me, there's policies and procedures for us once we inject, and programs that become accessible for us. Like we have in the uniform, as you know, Lacey, we have chaplains, right?
Yep.
So there's one avenue for service members while they're still serving. Which I also doubt that a chaplain would turn away a veteran. If you just recently got out, you reached out to one that you had served with, I know they're going to still address your issues, and they're going to help you through the issue. Then, we have behavioral health programs in the service, in the Department of Defense, that are just for that. It's just we go through a lot of training now with classroom and with role-playing interaction for us as service members to be able to recognize and see the warning signs if you have a service member soldier showing that they may have those ideologies, and then the steps to take from there. Bring it to the leadership's attention. The leadership gets involved, not so much involved like, okay, well, I'm going to change your thought process by making you do push-ups. Hey, come in here and talk to me. What's going on? I'm going to take you and we'll get you involved with behavioral health. What the exact programs are called, it's just that we have access to those while we're in the service.
Well,
Right. So at the end of the day, it's just knowing that they're there and being a superior leader. It's, actively speaking with the ones beneath you and the ones around you. Real quick, Master, and one more thing. During the pandemic, with even civilians, childhood suicide rates they have never been this high. So even with the pandemic, this is making everything harder, right? Not only just for military, but also civilians. Would you agree to say that events like the Confidence Course, Step Up America, actually bringing people together, just being able to communicate? I've had a lot of people on my American Brain and Brawn show, a lot of veterans that contemplated suicide, that were in such a dark mental space that, believe it or not, the one thing that pulled them out wasn't chaplains, it wasn't the behavioral health organizations and systems set in place. It was actually just their brothers in arms beside them, talking to them, and not in a manner of, hey, you look sad, are you suicidal? It was just a fishing trip. Like literally, there's a Marine in Miami, Florida, who set up a huge nonprofit where he takes his military brothers and sisters on fish trips, right? And it just creates this bond that that the military members are supposed to have anyway, but it just makes you feel like you're part of something, and you have somebody there to your left and right, to where when you are feeling like, as you said yourself, Massart, that they couldn't snap out of that mindset at the time, so they made a permanent decision that was a temporary problem. And if, as Americans, as active duty, as retired, as human beings, would you agree that if we would just be there for each other on an intimate level, like, how are you doing today? Do you want to come over for a barbecue, grab a hot dog, or just simple phone calls, just making people feel loved and involved, and that that people gave a crap about each other at certain moments in life? The more we did that, the less depression and being alone that people would feel.
Lacey, I couldn't agree with you more on that. You mentioned at the end there about being alone. That's what we call that. Like when someone's isolated or in isolation. When you're just in that low point and you're isolated. You're not interacting with others. You're not talking. You're not open about what's going on. You get that. It just builds up more and more to where like you feel that you are alone. You are the only one going through that struggle. No one understands your struggle. So I agree with you. Getting out and interacting helps break that. Whereas, everyone's following the rules. We don't want to spread COVID more than it is, right? Everyone's following the rules. But the lack of that kind of interaction, it's so much easier to forget that someone's sitting at home and and you're at home struggling and you don't have any outside contact. So having those interruptions, like call up, hey, Lacey, it's John. How are you? How's things? That might just be enough to jar you while you were sitting at home, maybe having bad thoughts,
Right.
So I agree with you. Having the interaction and those personal, intimate conversations, like you said, I believe it's assisted me as a leader in the Army and helped me be successful. We talk about in the service about, in leadership, know your soldiers. I had 150 guys serving in my company when I was a first sergeant, and I couldn't remember every one of their wives' names or all of their children's names, but there was something about each one of my soldiers I could remember. I remember, Lacey, if your daughter was starting on the high school volleyball team, and the next time I got interaction with you, I'd be like, hey, how's the volleyball team working out for your daughter? And it just, you could see the soldiers coming out of a slump like, wow, first sergeant he really knows me. He remembered my daughter. And it's those little simple things I've seen can have an impact by promoting that intimate relationship stuff, and then builds that level of trust where the soldiers, I would have a line of soldiers every month sitting outside my office wanting to come in and tell me their problems because they built up this rapport with me. They trusted me.
No, yeah, no, I'm just letting you two go at it,
Well,
man. No, that's it's so true, and I think the biggest thing, and Lacey, you had asked Master Sergeant Melson this question: are there programs out there? And next Tuesday, maybe Lacey, we'll discuss what Racing for Heroes does, because they kind of have a unique approach to this, and it has to do with nutritional, mental, physical, all kinds of things, but. Master Sergeant Melson, I couldn't agree more. I think the biggest problem that most veterans deal with is they're part of this giant team, right? And then they come back home or they're in corporate America, and I'm here to tell you, it's not a team atmosphere. It's just
No,
do or
it is
die.
not.
It's cutthroat and it's nasty, and I think that's what a lot of veterans struggle with. Is all of a sudden you were part of this massive machine that is a team and truly a team, and then you're plopped out into corporate America or civilian life where that's not so much the case, and that can be hard to deal with. And that's one of the things that when Lacey had this idea about this confidence course, we want to instill this teamwork and this community at this event and bring Beaufort is our first stop, South Carolina, into a team atmosphere and pull all these, as Lacey would say, these little babies out of their homes and get them working together and get some interaction going, and then take this thing across the country and just try to promote that teamwork that this country so desperately needs to get back to. I'm off my soapbox.
No, you can stay on your soapbox. It's not just that. I know that, again, and I love, as John knows, I'm a big supporter of the veteran community. I've been a veteran advocate most of my adult life. But everyone knows I'm the king of fun. There's no question there. I am the ultimate champion of fun. And one of the things that you can do to deal with, mental issues and depression is to go out and have fun. So let me tell you, on February 27th, if you are in the Beaufort, South Carolina area, and you've been cooped up and it's just been a little bit of a tough, pandemic, as it has been for everyone, you come on out and you will have fun, because fun is the number one cure for anything. And again, like John and Lacey were discussing, Any of you who are out there who are, maybe having a tough time and having deep thoughts, reach out to somebody, and everyone reach out and check in on everybody else. Make sure everyone's doing well. This pandemic has been crazy for everyone. I was just talking to a buddy yesterday who just got laid off. It's done a number on everyone.
It's terrible.
We can all get back together and we can have some fun, and you can't have more fun with a WWE superstar, some Marines, Ben Franklin, hot dogs. There's going to be a bouncy house. I mean, it's going to
band,
be
I
a
think.
band.
Oh,
It's
God.
going to be a ton of fun.
Just
with,
being outdoors,
Yeah,
taking in
with a-
nature, it's all good fun.
with a bunch of like-minded folks. It's going to be a blast. So,
Oh yeah.
Lacey, did you I know we're running out of time here, and Lacey and Master Sergeant Melson, I know you're two very busy people, but Lacey, did you want to plug the event on the 27th one last time and maybe share a little bit?
So it is a Step Up Kids Confidence course. It will be outdoors with lots of space. I do want to make that clear because yes, it is a pandemic, but we made sure that this whole event is going to be stretched out with lots of space, masks, sanitize, everything. There will be so much distance, but just the vibe of the entire event is going to be uplifting and fun. There will be a bounce house, colorful, all around you, fresh air. We're going to pray to our Heavenly Father that there's going to be a great weather. If not, a little mud low crawl never killed nobody. Trust me, me and
Even better.
Master are we're living proof that a little mud and some obstacles never. It's going to be a good time. So it'll be February 27th. There will be knowledge involved with interactive learning and physical toughness. There will be some group work to where you actually have to work together because as you know, in America, in order to get anything accomplished, you have to be somewhat selfless to the point of working together in order to get to an end result. And some of these obstacle courses from a distance, you're going to have to work together. Rather it's mental, physical, you've got to kind of be a team each wave. There's no age limit. If we've got a 2-year-old and a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old and a 30-year-old that's ready to rock and roll, there's going to be a group of the little babies and they're going to be crawling in diapers and we're going to get them through the very end, with a hot dog at the end. And, and same thing with the 30-year-olds, it might be easier for you nasties, but you'll push through and just like the kids did. So, and that's a question we keep getting. It's like, how old do you have to be to come to this confidence course? There's no age limit. The babies will be helped by the parents, and we will have Marines out there on deck to push everybody, to let you guys know each station. You're going to be questioned. You're going to have a little bit of Benjamin Franklin knowledge it's going to be incredible. It starts at noon. And like I said, it's going to be an open, very spread out event. There's going to be music. There's going to be games. There's going to be a bounce house. And most importantly, there's going to be fun and kindness and love. So you guys come out. There's going to be a link attached to this. Check all my social media because today will be another flush day that I let the world know what we are doing and our goals. So if y'all hear this, come out if you can. It's going to be refreshing and it's going to be great.
Awesome. Thank you
All
so
right.
much,
Thank you.
Miss Evans. Master Sergeant Melson, I just want to personally thank you again for coming on the show. We hope to have you back again because you are an incredible American, a true hero, a humble man, and God bless you for what you do and you continue to do, sir.
Hey, can I say something out there?
of course you can, John. Go right
Go right
ahead.
ahead.
And then I want to ask Lacey a question after this. Being two former Marines, I think she'd get a kick out of it. But very recently, over the last 12 months, I had a very close friend of mine, Jeremy Cole. He was a first sergeant in the Army. He was actually one of my sapper instructors when I came through sapper school at 42. It wasn't a day that went by he didn't remind me that I had no business being that old coming to sapper school. but he dealt with me, and he was part of that humbling that I was talking about. And he provided that for me. And since he's got out, I just wanted to mention, guys, he runs a program now for soldiers, active duty, and veterans. And they do outdoor adventures. And, you go out to his site, and they take you out on hunting trips and canoeing and stuff like that. And for a reconnection with Jesus Christ. So if you believe in Jesus Christ and you're having these issues, you want to build that relationship back. His name's Jeremy Cole. You can find him on Facebook. and his email is jeremy@soulsurvivoroutdoor.org. He's running a great program out there, and I think part of one of the gaps that humans have right now is the lack of, we talk about mental fitness, physical fitness, and then that religious bond. We've kind of lost some of that as well along the way, whether you're Jewish, Muslim, Catholic, Christian. I think that helps strengthen the soul to deal with those down and low points. And then on a higher note, Lacey, I just got a question for you. Some Marine Corps banter back and forth. Were you a Hollywood Marine or were you a real Marine?
I was a real Marine, you nasty parasite.
Be careful, John. She doesn't play around. Even with you, I would be careful, Johnny.
I know she understands it. Real Marines went to Paris Island. Hollywood Marines went to San Diego. They graduated with sunglasses.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. Master Sergeant, if you can, I have Jeremy's his email, Jeremy Cole. I don't know if he's interested, but I'd love to have him on my show in order to get his program out there and start working on not only, it's incredible people, because he didn't need, this is what I love about America, man. When he got out, he didn't need to start this program for people that are hurting. And that's what I want to highlight. It's people like this, people like you that go out there and actually give I'm PG here, that actually care about the mindset, the mentality, the hard, difficult things that people go through in life. And they create nonprofits like Step of America, like March Forward Foundation, like Jeremy Cole's Soul Survivor. I'm going to look into that right now, because there are people out there suffering. There are veterans out there suffering. There are civilians out there that just need to hear 2 sentences of stuff that we've said today to help them push forward. Life is hard. Every day is freaking hard, and some days are harder than others. But I think that this is incredible, and this is what we need more in America. And so I want to get his information. I want to have him out, and I want to come out and highlight what this man does, because this is what we need. And that's why I'm part of a Step of America. And I agree. I can't agree with you more when it comes to religion and just that making a wholeness of your soul, whether you're religious or not, you've got to find something mentally that makes you whole, to where you can push forward and fight these demons that whisper in your ear at night. You just live another day. Tomorrow will be different. I can promise you that. Just push through. And it sounds like Jeremy Cole is making that an option for people out there that are suffering. So please make sure I get more than just his email so I can work with him.
Lacey, when the show's over, I'll make sure you and John, I connect it to you via email or any other way, so that we can definitely take care of that. So that's fantastic.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you.
Just one last thing before Sergeant Melson leaves us. Johnny, is Tom Brady going to do it this weekend or what?
Man, he is something else, isn't he?
I tell you, not only that, John, but I won't even tell you, because I know you're a good Sergeant Major now, but all the Milton boys are coming down to Fort Lauderdale for the weekend for the Super Bowl, so that ought to be an interesting time down here in Florida. I wish you could get away, but I know you're busy. But, John, again, thank you so much. I know you had lunch and you came out for me. I really appreciate it, brother. But I think, is that the end of today's show?
That's it. Thank you, Lacey Evans. Thank you, Master Sergeant John Melson, a stud, a true hero. And Adrian, Noah, thank you as always for being part of this show. Mark, you want to sign us off?
I will sign us off. Once again, it was Lacey's Corner today with the one and only former U.S. Marine Lacey Evans. So you should always listen to Lacey and don't be a nasty. And of course, we also had joining us Master Sergeant John Melson from the Mississippi National Guard. Thank you both for joining us. And remember, be like Ben. When you're kind to others, you're being best to yourself. Thank you so much, everybody. God bless America.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
guys.
Take care. Take care, Lacey.
Thank you, John.
Bye, sir.
Thanks,
Nice
Mark.
to meet you.